Hello, fifth graders. So today we're going to be starting a new topic, and it's all about the coordinate system. Now, I really enjoy this topic because it's fun, and I get to mix a little bit of art and math together, which I always enjoy. So today's topic is topic 14.1, the coordinate system. So you might have learned a little bit about this in fourth grade, but we're going to kind of go over it together just to make sure you understand it and how it works. So the coordinate system, so just like similar to a map, that a map shows the location of landmarks and has guides for finding them. In a similar way, in math, we have a coordinate grid. Okay, and a coordinate grid is used to graph and name the location of points on a coordinate plane. Okay, so this is a coordinate grid. That's what a coordinate grid looks like. Okay, now you can use blank to locate points on a coordinate grid. So whenever you have a coordinate grid, you see things that are labeled like this. There's parentheses, a number, a comma, and then another number. This is called an ordered pair. And what this ordered pair tells you is where to find a certain point on a coordinate grid. And I'm going to explain how to find out what everything means in an ordered pair. Okay, so a coordinate grid has a horizontal x-axis. So this right here, this horizontal line is the x-axis. Okay, and a vertical y-axis. So this vertical line right here is the y-axis. And then the point where the x-axis and y-axis intersect, so we have the x-axis, we have the y-axis, right here they intersect, that is called the origin. So a little background about a coordinate grid. We have the x-axis, which is horizontal. We have the y-axis, which is vertical. And where they intersect, that is called the origin. Now on this coordinate grid, we have a bunch of ordered pairs. And I'm going to tell you next how to identify certain ordered pairs. So a point on the grid is named using an ordered pair of numbers. Okay, so again, you usually see them written like this with parentheses, the numbers, and then a comma in between. The first number, which is the x coordinate, that names the distance from the origin along the x-axis. So let me go over that really quick. Okay, so this number right here is the x coordinate. Okay, and basically what that tells you is on the x-axis, how far to go over. Okay, then the second number, which is the y coordinate, okay, what that tells you to do, it names the distance from the origin along the y-axis. So this one right here is the y coordinate. So the first number in an ordered pair always stands for the x, and the second number always stands for the y. And a little trick to remember that, think about the alphabet. X always comes before y on the alphabet, okay? So right here we have the ordered pair 1, 3. So what you do, okay, you always start at the origin no matter what. That 1 tells you from the origin to move across the x-axis 1. So over to 1. Then the y coordinate tells you from that point right here how many spaces up to go on the y-axis. So 3. So you would go 1, 2, 3. And that's how you would get your ordered pair plotted on the coordinate grid. So now what we're going to do, we're going to identify where certain points are. So let's look at this example over here. It says, what ordered pair is the red dot at? So this red dot right here, okay, to understand how to do it, we always look on the x-axis first. So we start at the origin. We're going to go over until right underneath the dot. Okay, so what number is the dot right underneath on the x-axis? It's right under the 4. So our x coordinate is 4. And then how many times do we go up on the y-axis? We go up to the 3. So you go over 4, up 3. So our ordered pair is 4, comma, 3. So let's go over a few more examples of how to identify these ordered pairs. So right here we have another coordinate grid. Okay, you see the origin right here is 0. Technically, it's actually 0, 0. Okay, and then you have the x-axis on this side horizontally, and it's labeled. You can see x, and then the y, which is labeled right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to determine where all of these points are. So let's start with L. Okay, I see L is right here. So we start at the origin and we go over on the x until we're right underneath of it. So what is the x coordinate of L? The x coordinate is 2. And then we go up on the y-axis until we get to L. So what ordered pair, what point are we at on the y-axis? We're on 2 as well. So the ordered pair of L is 2, 2. Okay, now if you are a virtual student, I would suggest using your fingers, okay, to follow it. If you want to use your finger to go one way and then up this way and see kind of where they meet, if that helps you like that, okay, like drawing it like that, I would suggest it, okay. If you are an in-person student, what I would suggest in your notes is doing what I've been doing. So going over and then going up and seeing where that reaches. All right. So the next one is M. So M is right here. Now this is where it gets interesting because we go on the X. Do we go over at all on the X axis to get to M? We don't. So if we don't move on the X at all to get to our point, we go how many spaces? We go 0 spaces, so the x coordinate would be 0. But how many spaces up do we go on the y-axis to get to M? We go 3. So this ordered pair would be 0, 3, because we don't go any spaces on the x, but we go 3 on the y. All right, so let's look at the next one, N. Okay, we start at 0. We go how many spaces over to get to N on the x-axis? We go over 1. How many spaces up do we go to get to N on the y? Well, we go up 5 on the y-axis. So the ordered pair would be 1, 5. Let's look at the next one, P. I see P is right here. Okay, so we start at the origin, always start at the origin. We go over how many spaces to get to P on the x-axis. Again, you always go horizontal first. We go 4. Now, to get to P, do we go any spaces up on the y-axis? We do not. So similar to this problem up here when we didn't go any spaces on the x-axis, in this problem, we didn't go any spaces on the y-axis, so it would be 0. 4, 0 would be our ordered pair. All right, and Q. Let's look at Q. Q is right here. Okay, so how many, we start at the origin, how many spaces do we go over to get to Q? We go 5. How many spaces up on the y-axis do we do to get to Q? 4. So our ordered pair would be 5, 4. All right, let's look at S. S, we go over 5 again, and then we go up, not 4, but 5 as well. So that would be 5, 5. T, so again, T, we start at the origin. Do we go over at all on the x-axis to get to T? We do not. So what would be our x coordinate? It would be 0. Now, how many spaces do we go up to get to T on the y? We go 5. So that would be 0, 5. All right, let's look at W. W, we start at the origin. We go over 3 and then up on the y, 2. All right, the X, all right, start at the origin. We go over 4 to get to X right above, underneath of it. So 4 would be the X coordinate. And then we go up 3, 4, 3. We're getting close to the end. Now we have Y. We go at the origin over how many spaces to get to y? 1. And then do we go up at all on the y-axis? We do not. So it would be what? 0. And then lastly, z, we go over 1 again, and then we go up 4. All right. So what you guys are going to do is you are going to have a piece of paper very similar to this, okay? A Google slide very similar to this in your classroom. And what you are going to do is you are going to tell me the ordered pairs that go along with every point. Okay, very similar to this. You can use your fingers, you can draw it out on paper, whatever helps you. But just keep in mind, you always go on the x-axis first. You always move on the x-axis first, and then you move on the y-axis. All right? If you have any questions, please email me, and have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.